Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome. My name's Randy and I love everything crochet. And if you love everything crochet, you should definitely subscribe to my channel and follow my Instagram, which is always linked in the description down below. Now today we're making something that I'm gonna work on his face. Let me know if you think I should redo it. I think he'll make sense once I tell you the inspiration. I think his face just looks a little off, but my inspiration was kind of, if you were born in the 80s or 90s, you might remember these. There was like little smiley face characters. They had like a classic round smiley face head, and then they had like a body. It's kind of what I was going for, but I think it's because I do oval eyes, like oval and long slit eyes. I think if I did round eyes, or if I would have used safety eyes, it would have just hit a lot better for that. So just picture, yeah, there we go. Let's picture some different eyes. And that's, this is what we're making today. I've named mine Plain Blob, like instead of Plain Bob, he's Plain Blob because he is a little blobby. You can do the overalls or not. The overalls are sewn on because I attached the legs over the overalls and then the little shorts on top, so keep that in mind. You will have to kind of skip a little bit if you don't want to do the overalls, but I think the overalls add some character to him, so there he is. But if you'd like to make him, even if you want to give him a better face, let's go ahead and get started. And before we start, I use single crochet stitch the entire time. I always forget to say it, I don't know why, but he was made entirely, even the overalls, with single crochet stitch. So let's get started. To start, we need our yarn. I am personally using Premier Little Bunny yarn. This is in the color Toffee. I actually already have one that's partially used, so I'm just gonna use this one, but I did want to show you all the stuff for it. And I like to use a 5mm hook, which I think is, let's see, it's quite a bit smaller than recommended, but I think you could go with a 6 as well. This is just my preferred for this size yarn. I like my stitches closer together and a little tight. And you are going to start with a magic ring. And then we are going to go into the center loop 6 times. So we have 1, then we're gonna do 2, then 3. Try not to tangle that. Then 3, then 4, then 5, and 6. Now for my next round, I'm going to go into the first stitch here. And I'm going to mark my first stitch. And then I'm going to go back into that same stitch to put 2 stitches into one. And then the next one I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go through the stitch and then back into the same stitch. And I'm going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So I want to put 2 stitches in every stitch. That is a term I'll use anytime we're expanding throughout this project. That just means go back into the same stitch for a second time. And then it will bring you to 12 stitches all the way around. And we'll go back into our first one for our second round. And we're going to do 2 stitches into the first, then a single stitch, then 2 stitches into the next, then a single, repeating the pattern all the way around. The next round you'll put 2 stitches into the first, then 1, 2 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 2 single, repeating the pattern all the way around. The next round we'll put 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3 single, then 2 stitches in the next, then 1, 2, 3 single, repeating all the way around. Next round, 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 4 single stitches, repeating all the way around. For the next round, you'll put 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 5, repeating all the way around. The next round, we're going to put 2 stitches in the first, then 6 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 6 single stitches, repeating all the way around. After that last round, I'm no longer expanding. I'm just going to put a single stitch in every stitch. I will count how many rounds I do, and I'll let you know how many rounds of single stitch in every stitch I do, and you might want to do. I did not update like throughout going because it was the weekend. I was with my family. I did not want to disrupt our life to film a clip. So I did 20 rows of staying the same. At row 14, I added my second skein of yarn. So you'll definitely need more than 1 skein if you're doing this size. I will reduce after this round, but before I do that, I'm going to add the face. You can do the face however you like. I'm going to do like a nice simple one because personally I feel like that's what's gonna work best. And I just want to pull my yarn, not all the way through here. Just gonna do a little simple eyes. I think I wanna do them a little on the smaller side too. If you're wondering what yarn this is Burnett. I think I'm saying that right. Fluffy yarn. So I tried to make a plush out of this and it turned out not so good. So I figured it would make perfect to do like eyes and faces on plush. And I went through the same section 3 times, kind of make his eye pop a little more. And then we're gonna do the same thing over here. Try and make them even. I'm not very good at that, I'll be completely honest. I embroider with the heart, like my heart, and it normally does not work out in my favor when I do that, but here we are. I just keep on trucking on here. All right, so there's his eyes. And I want to add a little smile because, you know, he's just a friendly little guy. So I'm going to make sure I have that pulled through, and then I'm going to tie this off. And I think depending on like what you're going for, because he's kind of just like, he's like a blob, so to speak, but he's got a little more character to him than a regular blob. So depending on what you're going for, you might want to just do eyes, or maybe do a frown or a smirk of some kind, but I'm just going to give him a little smile. I don't think I would typically do like, maybe I will do like full length in between the eyes. Oh, there we go. And then I just like to go down like a little bit just to give him a little, that was not enough, hold on. Once you are done with the face, we will start reducing. So we're gonna go into our first stitch, then into our second, pull through, making 1 single stitch. So we're basically doing the opposite of expanding. And then we're gonna do 6 single stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're gonna reduce 2 stitches into 1, which will be the term I use. We'll go through the first loop, then the second, pulling through a loop each time, making 1, then 6 single stitches, repeating all the way around. The next round you reduce 2 stitches in a 1, then 5 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 5 single, repeating all the way back around. The next round you'll reduce 2 stitches in a 1, then 4 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches in 1, then 4 single, repeating all the way around. The next round you'll reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2, 3 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2, 3 single, repeating all the way around. This will be my last round before stuffing, but I'm going to reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2 single stitches, then reduce 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2 single stitches, repeating all the way around. The next round we're going to reduce 2 stitches into 1, then a single stitch, then reduce 2 stitches into 1, then a single, repeating all the way around. After that last round, I'm going to take the tail end of my yarn, weave it through my needle, and go weave back and forth through all of the stitches and pull it tight to seal the hole here. For the arms, we're going to do a starting chain of 12, and then we're going to flip our work and do 11 single crochet stitches across, and we're going to do that for a total of 8 rows. And then you'll fold your piece in half, and this will be more so what the arm looks like, and you'll weave your yarn back and forth down so both tails are on one end, and then you'll have your arm, and then you'll have 2 tails to be able to attach it to the body. So I added the arms, and this step you can skip, but I'm going to make him overalls. I wanted to go ahead and include this because I'm going to make the overalls, attach them, and then attach the legs because I feel like that'll be easier, and he, you know, I think he's gonna just always wear the overalls as long as I like them. So I found this yarn at Michael's. I really wanted to try it, and I think this will look really cute as some overalls. This is the Fluffy Flecks in the orange color, and we are going to use a 6mm hook with it, as recommended. And basically we are going to start just like we did with him by doing the, once I find the end of it. And then also to start, we're going to put 6 stitches into the center loop, because basically we want to make our circle the same circumference, that's the right word, as this, so it can sit on him and scoot up. So we're going to do 6 stitches into the center. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6, and then like with our actual character here, we're going to put 2 stitches in every stitch for this round. So I'm going to start with this one. We got 1, then I'm going to go back into that same stitch for 2, then 3, then go back in for 4, repeating all the way around. For the next round, you'll put 2 stitches in the first, then a single stitch, then 2 stitches in the next, then a single, repeating. The next round, put 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2 single stitches, then 2 stitches in the next, then 2 single, repeating all the way around. I ended up switching to a 7mm hook because it was too tight. You can see it's still curving, but not as bad. Even though this yarn recommended a 6mm, I think you probably want an 8. I would recommend an 8. But anyways, you're gonna do 2 stitches into 1, then 1, 2, 3, then 2 stitches in the next, then 1, 2, 3, repeating all the way around. The next round, 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4 single, then 2 stitches in the next, then 4 single stitches, repeating all the way around. 2 stitches in the first, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single, then 2 stitches in the next, then 5 single, repeating all the way around. So after that last round, you kind of want it where it'll sit snug on him, but won't be too tight. I think I'm going to do one more round, but this will just depend on the width of yours. You'll want it where he can sit in it, and it will fit comfortably. So I'm going to do one more round, where I do 2 stitches in the first, then 6 single, then 2 stitches in the next, then 6, repeating all the way around, and then we'll stay the same, but your size may vary depending on this. As you can see, it fits nicely around him, so now we'll do however many rows I'll determine in a second of putting a single stitch in every stitch all the way around. So instead of increasing, you'll just put a single stitch all the way around. For this I did 5 rounds of staying the same, and now I'm going to sew this to the body. You may want to adjust how many rounds you do. But for mine personally, I did 5. I want it to come right up to his armpit so we can add the straps. For the legs, you want to do a starting chain of 12, and then you'll do 14 rows. And then like the arms, we'll fold it in half, stitch it up, and then we'll attach. And like I said, you want to sew the overalls on. So if you didn't want to do overalls and just wanted to do legs, that is the legs. I've decided after attaching the legs, I am gonna add like a little length to give him shorts, but I had this long piece from the like what will be overalls, and I decided that I'm going to make this like the actual overall part. So I am just going to weave it up and around, attach it, and then weave across. So like weave it through here, then weave it back around through here to kind of give it where it's like loose straps and like actual straps rather than creating a thick piece that I don't think would stay as well on his shoulders because he doesn't have any shoulders. For the little pant legs, you'll do a starting chain of 11. I'm doing shorts, so I only did 3 rows, and then I'm going to like the arms and legs, stitch it together, but leave it open where I can slide it over his legs and sew it on. And then once he is all assembled, you are done. Now I really think I'm gonna redo his face because it didn't get what I want. I think it's because I think his eyes should be a little bit more rounded, and then it will work. Like I kind of like his smile, but I think if I added more rounded eyes, I think his face would just look a little better. He looks almost a little too handmade, but that's okay. I love the body shape. I love how the overalls turned out, and I think he's pretty cute overall. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you should subscribe to my channel and follow my Instagram, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye!